Hello students, so in this video we are going to discuss on test series 15 of Vision. So it mainly focused on polity and constitution. So let's go to the first question. In January 1930, before launching civil disobedience movement, Mahatma Gandhi presented an 11-point ultimatum to Lord Irwin. So which of the following are included in the ultimatum? So here, resolution of rupee sterling exchange ratio, abolition of salt tax, reserve coastal shipping for Indians, and acceptance of postal reservation bill were included in that ultimatum. So only option C is answer. Second question, which of the following statements is correct with regard to Kodavas? So Kodavas are found in the Coorg region in Karnataka, and they are ethno-linguistic group living in the Kodagu region of Karnataka, and they are permitted to carry firearms without license, and they speak Kodava Takke that belong to Dravidian language, and Kodava Takke language has been classified as endangered language by UNESCO. Okay, so here coming to this one, the answer is B. Next is third question, personality and position held is given. So Malati Chowdhury. So Malati Chowdhury, she established Utkal Provisional Kisan Sabha for abolition of the zamindari system in 1930. Krishnaswamy, Alladi Krishnaswamy was the member of Constituent Assembly. N.M. Joshi is the General Secretary of All India Trade Union Congress. So only 2 and 3 pairs are correct. Option B. Fourth question, in the context of British expansionism during the early 20th century, consider the following statements regarding the Treaty of Lhasa. So the Treaty of Lhasa allowed the British some control over the foreign affairs of Tibet, and the Tibet did not cede any territory to the Britain. Okay, so only option A is the answer. Fifth question, consider the following statements regarding the veto power of the President of India. So veto power of President is mentioned in the article 111. So he has no veto power with respect to constitutional amendment bills. He enjoys pocket veto with respect to state legislations. He does not have the power to exercise the qualified veto. So option D is the answer. Sixth question, for which of the following states the President enjoys the power to direct at that an act of parliament does not apply to the tribal areas in the state or apply with specified modifications and exceptions. So here it is only Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Assam is not included. Generally we go for option 1, 3, 4 and 5, but Assam is not included because the Parliament Act does not apply to the tribal areas of Assam. Even though this Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram are in the 6th schedule, Assam will not Assam doesn't the Parliament Act doesn't apply to the tribal areas of Assam. Okay, so only 3, 4, 5, that is option D is the answer. Seventh question, in the context of the colonial legislative reforms, consider the following statements regarding the Indian Universities Act of 1904. So Lord Curzon was viceroy when Indian Universities Act was in picture. So Indian Universities Act intended to introduce the radical changes to the 5 existing universities at Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, Lahore and Allahabad. It envisaged an enlargement of the functions of the universities. It conferred powers on the government to make changes to the regulations passed by the University Senate. So all these are correct. Option D. Eighth question, who among the following has the authority to fix the borrowing limit upon the security of Consolidated Fund of India by the Union Government? It is only the Parliament. So the Parliament has the authority to fix borrowing limit upon the security of Consolidated Fund of India. Ninth question, which of the features given below represent the federal nature of Indian Constitution? So here the federal features of Indian Constitution are dual polity, written constitution, division of powers, supremacy of constitution, rigid constitution, independent judiciary, and bicameralism. So it is only independent judiciary and rigidity of constitution are given. So 2 and 3, option D is the answer. Whereas coming to the unitary features, strong center, states not indestructible, single constitution, flexibility of constitution, all India services, emergency provisions, single citizenship, all these are the features of unitary. Okay, whereas coming to federal, it is dual polity, written constitution, division of power, supremacy of constitution, rigid constitution, independent judiciary, and bicameralism. 10th question is, with respect to the Right to Information Act 2005, consider the following. So here, the citizens can seek any information that the government can disclose to the Parliament of India, and a person who wants to receive any information under the RTI Act can make a request in writing in English or Hindi or in any official language of that area. Okay, not only in English and Hindi, they can also write in any official language of that area. So option A is the answer. 11th question, in the context of the temple entry movement during the freedom struggle, consider the following statements regarding Kalaram Temple Satyagraha. So it was started under the guidance of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Mahatma Gandhi urged the depressed classes to withdraw from the Kalaram Temple Satyagraha, and Satyagraha was not fully in its objective of gaining entry at the temple of depressed classes. So all these uh, statements are correct. So option D is the answer. So this Kalaram temple Satyagraha was not successful in its objective of gaining entry to the temple for depressed classes. 12th question, consider the following statements with regards to the interstate council. So the council has the duty of inquiring into and advising upon the disputes which may have arisen between the states, and only the president by law defined the nature of duties to be performed in the interstate council, and the recommendations of the council are only advisory in nature and not binding on the parties. Only one option C is answer. 13th question, peasant workers organization and founders are given. So Indian Peasant Institute is founded by N.G. Ranga. Utkal Provincial Kisan Sabha is founded by Malati Chowdhury. National Trade Union Federation is founded by N.M. Joshi. Independent Labour Party is founded by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, not M.N. Roy. So only 3 pairs are correct. Option C. 14th question, with respect to the land revenue systems during the British rule of India, consider the following. So the maximum area during the British rule was under the Rayatwari settlement, not permanent one. It is under the Rayatwari settlement, and under the Rayatwari system there was no provision for an appeal to the court of law against the over assessment. So option B is the answer. 15th question, with reference to the powers of the parliament, consider the following. So the parliament can alter the boundaries of the existing states without their consent, and it requires so to change the areas of existing states or to form new states, constitutional amendment is not needed. Article 4 clearly states that admission or establishment of new states under Article 2 and 3 doesn't require any of the Constitutional Amendment Act under Article 368. Okay, so option A is answer. 16th question, with reference to the amendment procedure of Indian Constitution, consider the following. So a private member can introduce a bill to amend the constitution without the prior permission of the president, and there is no provision for holding a joint sitting of two houses for the purpose of passing the constitutional amendment bill. So option C is the answer. Next, 17th question, according to the Constitution of India, foreigners are not protected under the violation of which of the fundamental rights? So Article 15, that is the right against discrimination on grounds on religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Article 19 states that right to freedom of speech and expression. Article 21 is right to life. Cultural rights are Article 29 and 30. So here Article 15, 16, 19 and 29 and 30 are not applicable to the foreigners. Okay, so the right against discrimination, right to freedom of speech, cultural rights, all these are not applicable to the foreigners. Okay, the only one, the one it is applicable is the right to life. Article 21 is only applicable. Okay, so 1, 2, 4 are not applicable to foreigners, so option D. 18th question, in the context of the formation of political organizations during colonial India, arrange the formations of the following organizations. So Madras Mahajan Sabha, it is founded by M. Veeraragavachari and D. B. Subramania Iyer and P. Anand Charlu. So it is founded by these three members and in the year 1884. Okay, coming to the Bombay Presidency Association, it is founded by Badruddin Tyabji, Firoz Shah Mehta and K.T. Talang in the year 1885. And next is British Indian Association. So it is founded in 1851 and it is the first political organization that brought Indians together. Okay, so the sequence is 3, 1, 2, option A. 19th question, with reference to the national emergency. So till now there are 3 times national emergency was imposed in our country, and there is no maximum limited period prescribed for its operation, and the resolution of discontinuation of emergency should it need not be passed by both the houses. So option A is the answer. 28th question, with reference to the provisions of Indian citizenship, consider the following statement. So, the Constitution of India only identifies the person who became citizens on 26th January 1950, not 15th August of 1947. It is 26th January 1950. The Constitution recognizes only the persons who become citizens of India on 26th January 1950, and the Parliament has the power to enact a law to deal with the acquisition or loss of citizenship. So option D is the answer. 21st question, he proclaimed that rationalism is our only preceptor and evaluated the contemporary social religious practices from the standpoint of social utility and wants to replace faith with rationality. Instead of depending on the sculptures, he cited medical opinion against child marriage. He opined his rational ideas in a treaty known as Dharmaniti, that is principle of morality. He served as the editor of the well-known journal Tattva Bodhini Patrika. So he is Akshay Kumar Dutt. Option A is the answer. 22nd question, with reference to the basic structure doctrine, which of the following statements is not correct? So first statement is according to, so the answer is option A. Okay, so coming to the basic structure doctrine, Parliament removed the right to property. So fundamental rights can be curtailed, but it should not interfere in the doctrine of basic structure. And next is, through the Vaman Rao judgment, the Supreme Court held that the doctrine would apply only to the constitutional amendments enacted after 24th April 1973. And the doctrine is now nowhere mentioned in the constitution, and the idea of welfare state is a part of basic structure. 23rd question is, with reference to the colonial activities in the sphere of education, arrange the establishment of following in the chronological order. So the chronological option A is the answer. So Calcutta Madrasa is established by Warren Hastings in the year 1781. Sanskrit College at Benares was established by Jonathan Duncan in the year 1791. and Fort William College was established by Wellesley in the year 1800. 24th question, which of the following constitutional amendment acts are not ratified by the 50% of state legislature? It is 97th Constitutional Amendment Act, that is cooperative societies. So this deals with the cooperative societies. 7th Constitutional Amendment Act is related to high courts and high court judgments. 101 Constitutional Amendment Act is related to the GST. 61st Constitutional Amendment Act is related to lowering of voting age from 21 to 18 years. Now 25th question, Thiruvananthapuram Declaration was recently in use and is related to which of the following? It is answer D. So Thiruvananthapuram Declaration is related to the reservation for women in the Lok Sabha. 26th question, with reference to the Consumer Protection Act of 2019, consider the following statements. So under the Consumer Protection Act of 2019, we have 6 consumer rights. One is right to safety, right to be informed, right to choose, right to be heard, right to seek redressal, and right to consumer awareness. So coming to the first statement, right to be heard is explicitly guaranteed under this act. First is correct. So next is, the act provided for the 3-tier quasi-judicial mechanism for the redressal of the consumer disputes, and e-commerce is included in the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. So option A is the answer. 27th question, in which one of the following cases Supreme Court stated that in situations where there is a hung assembly, meaning that no political party has obtained a clear majority of seats, the final decision rests not with the various feuding parties but with the concerned legislature through a floor test. So it is this judgment is given through the S.R. Bommai case of 1994, option D. 28th question, with reference to the Ahmedabad mill strike of 1918, consider the following statements. So the main reason for the strike was discontinuation of the plague bonus, and it was Anusuya Soon who requested Mahatma Gandhi to intervene on behalf of the workers, not Rajendra Prasad. And Mahatma Gandhi proposed the arbitration bound comprising representatives of the workers and the mill owners. So option C is the answer. 29th question, with reference to the special 301 report, consider the following. So it is published by the Office of United States Trade Representative, and it aims to identify trading partners that deny market access to US innovators that rely on the protection of their intellectual property rights, and India has remained in priority watch list in the 2021. So option C is the answer. 30th question, consider the following statements regarding the significance of fundamental rights. So the fundamental rights serve as a formidable bulwark of individual liberty, they strengthen the secular fabric of the Indian state, and they facilitate the participation of the people in the political processes. So only 3 statements are correct, and the directive principles embody the concept of the welfare state, not the fundamental rights. Okay, so only option D is the answer. And fundamental rights seek social and economic democracy in India. 31st question, during the 18th century, a tax called Pattadam was imposed by Peshwas. So it was a tax on remarriage of widows. Option C. 32nd question, which of the following statements are correct regarding the PM CARES fund? So it is fund but not under the government of India, and Prime Minister is ex officio chairman of the PM CARES fund, and the fund is exempted under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2010 to accept foreign donations. So option D is the answer. 33rd question, in the context of Sehat, consider the following statement. So the full form of Sehat is services, e-health assistance and teleconsultation. So it is a free OPD service with the objective of telemedicine, home delivery of medicines to the veterans, and serving military personnel services. Okay, only for them this program is done. So Sehat is an initiative under the Ministry of Defense. So it is also launched under the Ministry of Defense. So option B is the answer. 34th question, Congress sessions and president are given. So Ramgarh session was presided by Maulana Abul Kalam Azad in 1940. Belgaum session was presided by Mahatma Gandhi in 1924. Gaya session was presided by C.R. Das in 1922. So option B is the answer. 35th question, which of the following events was or were associated with the Portuguese colonial campaigns in India? So the viceroy over the combined fleet of Gujarat, Egypt and Zomorin, and capture of Goa from Bijapur, Battle of Swali. All these are related, associated with the Portuguese colonial campaigns in India. Option D. 36th question, in the context of the freedom struggle, consider the following statements regarding Rajkot Satyagraha. So the answer is option A. Okay. So Rajkot Satyagraha was a movement where all goods either produced by the state or products sold under monopoly were boycotted. And Mahatma Gandhi was successful not Mahatma Gandhi was not successful in persuading the Darbar of Rajkot to agree the demand of Satyagrahis. Okay, so only option A is the answer. 37th question, which of the following are the cabinet committees chaired by Prime Minister? So here many of them are chaired by Prime Minister except Parliamentary Affairs Committee and Accommodation Committee. Okay, so Parliamentary Affairs Committee and Accommodation Committee are chaired by the Home Minister of India. So only 2 and 3 are correct. Option C. 38th question, with respect to the Charter Act of 1813, consider the following. So in the Charter Act 1813, a sum of 1 lakh rupees was to be set aside for the revival, promotion and encouragement of literature, learning and science among the natives of India every year. But whereas in Charter Act 1833, all the restrictions on European immigration and the acquisition of property in India were lifted. So only option B is the answer. 39th question, consider the following statements regarding the role of Vice President of India. So the Vice President can serve as a president only when there is a vacancy is available due to death or resignation of the president or due to the impeachment or any other situations. And while acting as president, the vice president does not perform the duties of the office of the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So option B is the answer. 48th question, consider the following statements regarding the All India Trade Union Congress. So All India Trade Union Congress was created in October 31st, 1920, and Lala Lajpat Rai was the first president, and the first vice president was Joseph Baptista, and All India Trade Union Federation was splinter group of AITUC formed by NM Joshi, and it was supported by the Congress candidates during 1937 elections. So option C is the answer. 41st question, with reference to the Namaste scheme recently seen in news. So the scheme aims to promote 100% mechanization in the cleaning of sewers and desiltation of drains, and it is centrally sponsored collaborative initiative of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So all these are correct. Option C. 42nd question, consider the following statements regarding Gram Panchayat Citizens Charter. So the creation of the charter helps the panchayat to reach out to all sections of the community without any discrimination, and the citizens charter is to be formulated by each panchayat separately. So option A is the answer. 43rd question, he became a missionary for Prarthana Samaj in Maharashtra. He founded the Depressed Classes Mission in Bombay in 1906. He made exemplary efforts towards the entry of untouchables into the temple, prohibition on animal sacrifice and Devadasi tradition in Maharashtra. In 1917, he succeeded in getting the Indian National Congress to pass a resolution condemning the practice of untouchability. So it is option C, that is Vittal Ramaji Shinde. Option C is answer. 44th question, which of the following statements is not correct regarding the pressure groups? So the pressure groups facilitate political participation and contribute to the policy making, and unlike the political party, the pressure groups have people with homogeneous interest, and not all pressure groups have linkages with particular political parties. Some pressure groups are linked to particular political parties, but many of them have no linkages with any of the political parties, and the pressure groups does not have direct control over the conduct of government. So option C is the answer. 45th question, in which of the following situata a law made by the legislature with respect to one matter enumerated in the concurrent list shall prevail in that state, even if it contains any provisions repugnant to the provisions of an earlier law made by the parliament? So here, when a law has received the assent of the president of India, then that law can be prevailed. Okay, so option B is the answer. 46th question, with reference to the Forest Right Act 2006, consider the following. So here the answer is option B. Okay, so Forest Right Act is also applicable to the protected areas like national parks, tiger reserves, reserved forests, etc. Okay, so the act provides for the creation of critical wildlife habitats for the protection of wildlife. So 47th question is, with reference to the Varda scheme of basic education, consider the following. So here the answer is option C. Okay, so here the Varda scheme of basic education is the proposal made by the M.K. Gandhi in All India National Education Conference, okay, in 1937. So it was prepared by the committee chaired by Zakir Hussain, and mother tongue was proposed as a medium of instruction, and it focused on learning through activity. So 48th question, in the context of the social religious reforms in 19th century, who among the following started a newspaper called Darpan in 1832 to create awareness of social reforms? So it is Balashastri Jambekar, option B. 49th question, in the context of direct to mobile technology, consider the following. So it can broadcast videos and other multimedia content directly to the mobile phones even without an active internet connection, and the technology is based on convergence between broadband and broadcast. So option C is the answer. 58th question, to be eligible for elections as a vice president, a person should fulfill which of the following conditions? So he should be a citizen of India. Okay, and the constitution does not differentiate based on the method of acquiring citizenship. Anybody who is a citizen of India is eligible for vice president, and he should be qualified for elections as a member of Rajya Sabha, and he should not hold any office of profit under the union government or any state government. So option B is the answer. 51st question, with reference to the cultural history of India, Chatuspatis or Tols refer to? So they refer to the centers of higher education, option D. 52nd question, he was proponent of the upliftment of Dalits within the fold of Hinduism. He opened his press which published journals aimed at awakening the Dalits. He established Sanmark Bodhak Nirashrit Samaj in 1910, which urged untouchables to take education, fight for civil rights, and create a feeling among Hindus that the downtrodden should be raised up. And he published the biography of Chokha Mela. He also published Musdur Patrika in 1918 to educate and mobilize the mill laborers. So it is Kisan Faguji Bansud. So option B is the answer. And coming to the Kalacharan Nandagavli, he was the Dalit activist who set up schools for girls in 1901. And G.D. Valankar, he fought for the rights of Mahars in Maharashtra, and he wrote two newspapers. One is Dinabandhu and the other one is Sudharat. Okay, so the next question is, what is the correct sequence of introduction of the following provisions in the historical evolution of constitutionalism administration in India? So, provision for diarchy at the center was introduced under Government of India Act of 1935. Introduction of bicameralism at center is introduced in Government of India Act 1919, and introduction of the open competition system of civil servants was introduced under the Charter Act of 1853, and recognition of portfolio system was introduced in Indian Council Act of 1861. So the order is 3421, option C. 54th question, with reference to the Metropolitan Planning Committees, consider the following. So, the Metropolitan Committees are constituted by the respective state governments under the Article 243ZD of the Indian Constitution, and the two-third of the members of these committees are elected by the elected members of the municipalities and chairpersons of panchayat. So option A is the answer. 55th question, recently seen in news, AlphaFold. AlphaFold is based on the computer system called Deep Neural Network. So AlphaFold is the artificial intelligence tool developed to predict and publish the structures of proteins. So option A is the answer. 56th question, Deepavali Declaration, which declared that the objective of the British was to grant dominion status to India, was announced during the tenure of Lord Irwin. 57th question, with reference to the election of the President of India, consider the statements. So here, the value of vote of MP is not equal to value of vote of MLA. The vote value of MLA is the total population of the state divided by total number of elected members in the state legislative assembly into 1000, and the vote value of MP is the total value of votes of all MLAs of all states divided by total number of elected members of the parliament. Okay, and the system of proportional representation is used for the elections of the president, and the anti-defection law, which disallows MPs from contesting the party line, does not apply to the presidential election. So option C is the answer. 58th question, consider the following statements with respect to the Battle of Saint Thome. So it was fought between the French forces and the Anwaruddin, who was the Nawab of Carnatic forces, and Saint Thomas was on the bank of river Adyar. So the battle was taken place in Madras. Okay, so option C is the answer. 59th question, in the context of the Nippon initiative of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, consider the following. So the Nippon initiative aims to train over 1 lakh construction workers through fresh skilling and upskilling programs. National Skill Development Corporation is the nodal implementing agency of the initiative, and the initiative also aims for the overseas placement of skilled individuals. So option A is the answer. 60th question, with reference to the Swatantra Party, consider the following. So it strongly opposed the socialistic pattern of the society and supported the market-based economy for India, and it emerged as the second largest party in the Lok Sabha after the fourth general elections of 1967. So it was merged with the Bharatiya Kranti Dal party in 1974. So option A is the answer. 61st question, recently the Parliament passed the Weapons of Mass Destruction and their Delivery System Amendment Bill. In the context of this development, identify the international treaties and agreements signed and ratified by India to control the use of weapons of mass destruction. So it is Geneva Protocol and Biological Weapons Convention of 1972. So option B is the answer. 62nd question, with reference to the Agnipath scheme, consider the following. So the soldiers selected under this scheme would not be part of the existing ranks in the armed forces, and After 4 years of tenure, 25% of the recruited personals would be allowed to continue for the another 15 years under the permanent commission, and the soldiers would not be entitled. So the soldiers will be entitled for the personal benefits. The next one is 63rd question with reference to the colonial history of India. Anti-Koti movement, which aimed at the abolition of the Koti system, took place in which of the following regions? So it took place in the Bombay Presidency. 64th question with reference to the colonial history of India, consider the following statements regarding the anti-non-cooperation movement. So the society was started in Bombay to oppose the non-cooperation movement, and Purushottam Thakur Das was associated with the society. Option B is the answer. 65th question, in the context of the revolutionary activities during freedom struggle, Circular-e-Azadi, a revolutionary magazine, was started by Ramnath Puri. Option B is the answer. 66th question. So here, Lala Hardayal was one of the main important leader of Gadar party. Kartar Singh Saraba was one of the proud Gadarite, and Madan Lal Dhingra. Actually he shot dead cousin Wiley, who was considered as the anti-Indian officer of the British regime. 66th question, with reference to the net neutrality, consider the following statements. So it ensures that all end users are available to access the internet content without discrimination in the service quality, speed and price, and currently the content delivery networks are not covered under the net neutrality regulations in India. And in India, the guidelines ensuring the net neutrality are enforced by the Department of Telecommunications. So option D is the answer. 67th question, with respect to the right to constitutional remedies, consider the following statements. So here the Parliament can empower any other court to issue the directions, orders and writs of all kinds, and during national emergency the President can suspend the right to move to any court for the enforcement of fundamental rights, and it is also mentioned in Article 359. So option A is the answer. 68th question, with reference to Swami Vivekananda's life, consider the events in the chronological order. So speech at Parliament of Religions is held in Chicago is in 1893. Establishment of Vedanta Society in New York took place in 1894. Establishment of Ramakrishna Mission took place in the year 1897. So 1, 2, 3 are the chronological one. It is option A. 69th question, consider the following statements regarding the organizational structures of Congress during the non-cooperation movement. So a 15-member working committee was formed to look after the day-to-day affairs. The provincial Congress committees were organized on the linguistic basis. Membership fees was reduced, thereby leading to the mass involvement. So option D is the answer. 70th question, with reference to the goal, that is going online as leaders program, consider the following. So the goal program aimed at the digital empowerment of the tribal people, especially the tribal youth and women, and it is launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and Meta. Meta is the form of Facebook, and the Education and Research Network is implementing agency of the program in India. So option C is the answer. 71st question, in the context of geography, consider the following statements regarding the bomb cyclone. So the bomb cyclone is a large, intense, mid-altitude storm that has low pressure at its center, weather fronts and an array of associated weather, thunderstorms and heavy precipitation take place. So it is rainfall occurs, that is precipitation occurs, and the cyclones occur not only in tropical deserts but also in other areas as well, and they occur especially in the winter seasons, monsoon seasons, but not in the summer seasons. They rarely occur in summer season. So option D, that is none of them are correct. 72nd question, with reference to the National Digital Tourism Mission. So, this mission was launched under the Ministry of Tourism. It advocates the unrestricted cross border flow of data to facilitate the exchange of information and services, but within the country itself, not whole tourism sector, but only within the country. 73rd, so option D is the answer. 73rd question, in the context of the creation, abolition, and change in the name of districts in India, consider the following. So, the power to create or abolish a district lies within the state government. But when the change of the name of the district or the railway station is needed, then the state government should seek the permission of the central government. So, option D is the answer. 74th question, in the context of the colonial history of India, which of the following events occurred during the tenure of Governor General William Bentinck? So, during the Governor General of William Bentinck, annexation of Mysore took place, and the suppression of Thagi also took place. And the Treaty of Mutual Friendship with Ranjit Singh took place when Charles Metcalfe was a Governor General of India. 75th question, which of the officers or institutions mentioned below are the constitutional bodies? So UPSC, GST, and Advocate General of the state. All these three are the constitutional bodies. Option B is the answer. 76th question, in the context of the colonial rule in India, consider the following statements with respect to Pirpur Commission. So it was appointed by the Muslim League, and the committee was chaired by Raja Sayyid Muhammad Mahdi of Pirpur. And the objective of the committee was to prepare a report on the atrocities supposedly committed by the Congress ministries. So option D is the answer. 77th question, with reference to the Prime Minister's office, consider the following statement. So it is an extra constitutional body headed by the principal secretary to the Prime Minister, and it was introduced by the Indian government in 1961 under the allocation of businesses rules of India. So option B is the answer. 78th question, in which of the following cases reserving the bill for reconsideration of the president is obligatory exercise for the governor? So it is only when the bill passed by the state legislature that endangers the position of the state high court, then only the reserving of the bill for the consideration of president is obligatory. Whereas when the bill is of ultra vires nature, that is against the provisions of the constitution, or whether the bill is dealing with the compulsory provisions of the property under article 31A of the constitution, in these both cases governor can also reserve the bill. Okay, so option D is the answer. 79th question, in the context of air independent propulsion technology deployed in submarines. So as per that, technology enables non-nuclear submarines to operate without access to the atmospheric oxygen. Generally other submarines come to the surface of ocean to take the oxygen, whereas the submarines which use this AIP technology are independent of oxygen. Okay, and India will soon join a grouping with Germany, South Korea, and France in the usage of AIP system in submarines. So option A is the answer. 88th question, which of the following directive principles is based on the liberal intellectual principles? So it is only to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard forest and wildlife. Only in this situation liberal intellectual principle is applied. Whereas to organize village panchayat, it is a democratic decentralization act, and equal pay for equal work for men and women, and to promote equal justice and promote free legal aid to the poor are the socialist directive principles. Okay, so only this one is the liberal in nature. 81st question, in the context of the freedom struggle, who among the following was or were the members of the committee that prepared the Nehru report? So Nehru report chairman was Motilal Nehru, and the other members were Tej Bahadur Sapru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Ali Imam, N.M. Joshi, etc. So option B is the answer. 82nd question, who among the following were associated with the Congress Socialist Party formed in 1934? So this Congress Socialist Party was formed in 1934 with the president of Acharya Narendra Dev and with the general secretary of Jai Prakash Narayan. So all these members, that is Sampurnananda, EMS Namboodiripad, Purushottam Trikam Das and Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay, all these are the members of this party. So option C is the answer. 83rd question, with reference to the mission Shukrayan, consider the following. So it is the first orbiter mission to Venus sent by India, and it aims to study the surface and atmosphere of the planet. So option C is the answer. 84th question, with reference to the unique land parcel identification number, consider the following. So it is a 14-digit identification number based on which the geo coordinates of the land parcels are generated and assigned to the plots, and it is part of the Digital India Land Record Modernization Program launched by the Ministry of Rural Development. So option A is the answer. 85th question, with reference to the independence of the Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India article is 324. Okay, so the Chief Election Commissioner is provided with the security of tenure, and the service conditions of the Chief Election Commissioner cannot be varied to his disadvantage after his appointment, and the Constitution has not debarred the retiring Election Commissioner from any further appointments by the government. So option C is the answer. 86th question, with reference to the Indus Water Treaty, consider the following. So, as per the treaty, the waters of rivers Sutlej, Beas, and Ravi are available for unrestricted use by the Indians, not by Pakistan. For Pakistan, the rivers are Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab. Okay, so the treaty provides for a permanent Indus Commission headed by 2 officers each from India as well as Pakistan. So option B is the answer. 87th question, with reference to the fundamental duties. So the fundamental duties did not form part of original constitution, and to safeguard public property is the fundamental duty of the citizen. So option C is the answer. 88th question, which of the following statements is not correct about Rajaram Mohan Roy? So the Society for Acquisition of General Knowledge was formed a group as this society formed as a group of young Bengal in 1838. Okay, so Rajaram Mohan Roy bought journals in Bengali, Hindi, English, and Persian to educate and inform the public, and so here he did not establish the society for acquisition of general knowledge. Okay, so he bought journals out of brought out journals in Bengali, Hindi, English, and Persian to educate and inform public. He supported David Hare's efforts in the founding of Hindu College in 1817, and he established Vedanta College, where courses in both Indian language and Western society and physical sciences were taught. So option A is the answer. 89th question, with reference to the police commissionerate system. So here, under the police commissionerate system, both the police commissioner and magistrate powers will be vested in the police commissioner, and he should be responsible to the state government and the state chief police. So first statement is wrong. So next is, it confers magisterial powers to the office of Commissioner of Police. So option B is the answer. 90th question, which of the following is not correct with reference to the Government of India Act of 1919? So it introduced bicameralism for the first time at the central level. It introduced direct elections for the provincial council. It provided for the establishment of the Public Service Commission, and it made provisions for the payments of Secretary of State for India from British Exchequer. So option D is answer. 91st question, with reference to the preamble of the constitution, consider the following. So the preamble of the constitution is based on the objective resolution drafted by Jawaharlal Nehru, and it contains the date of adoption, not enforcement. It contains the date of adoption of the constitution, that is 26 November 1949, and it declares India to be the sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic polity. Okay, so first statement only is correct, option C. 92nd question, with reference to the combined maritime forces, consider the following. So it aimed to uphold the rules based international order by countering illicit non-state actors on the high seas. The member nations of combined maritime forces are not bound by a fixed political and military mandate, and India is not a member of the multinational partnership. So option A is the answer. 93rd question, consider the following statements with reference to the political parties in India. So the registration of political parties is governed by the provisions of the Representation of People Act of 1951, and any party seeking registration has to submit an application to the Election Commission within a period of 30 days following the date of its formation. And Representation of People Act 1951 does not provide any mechanism to deregister political parties. So option A is the answer. 94th question, with reference to the activities of Mahatma Gandhi during the freedom struggle, arrange the following events in chronological order. So establishment of All India Anti-Untouchability League was done by Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1932. Launch of Harijan Weekly newspaper. This newspaper was published in English, so it was launched in 1933, and resignation from the Congress is done in 1934. So option A is the answer. 95th question, consider the following statements with regard to the removal of Vice President of India. So the proceedings for his removal can be initiated only in Rajya Sabha. So both elected as well as nominated members can participate in his removal process, and the president, it is okay. So on violation of the Constitution of India, only the president can be removed, whereas for the vice president and prime minister there are other provisions, like if they are involved in the criminal or civil matters, then also they can be impeached. So option B is the answer. 96th question, in the context of social religious reforms during 19th century, who among the following were active proponents of widow remarriage? So Dondo Keshav Karve and Behramji Malabari. So both of them were active proponents of widow remarriage, whereas Radha Kantadev founded Dharma Sabha in 1890, and it was an orthodox society and opposed even the abolition of sati. Okay, so Radha Kantadev did not support for widow remarriage. 97th question, the Seoul Forest Declaration, recently seen in news, was adopted by the World Forestry Congress. 98th question, with reference to the history of reorganization of states, arrange the following in chronological order. So renaming of Madras as Tamil Nadu took place in 1969. Enactment of State Reorganization Act took place in 1956. Formation of Fazal Ali Commission took place in 1953, and formation of Maharashtra state took place in 1960. So the order is option D, 3241. 99th question, consider the following statements with regards to the Chief Minister. So the term of the Chief Minister is not fixed by the Constitution, and the salaries and allowances of the Chief Minister are determined by the state legislature. So option A is the answer. 100th question, with respect to the provision of the President rule, consider the following statements. So the resolution approving the President rule should be passed by the simple majority by the Parliament, and Parliament approves the state budget during the dissolution of the State Legislative Assembly. So option A is the answer.